God's blessings and truth spoken amongst y'all, my brothers and sisters. Hey, I want y'all to know something. Hey, y'all be grateful that y'all ain't the way that y'all used to be. Than everything that's going around in this world right now. And that you're not entrapment in the mind and the deception of the enemy that really tried to keep us stagnant for so many years. I want y'all to understand where y'all stand at now with the Heavenly Father is where God has destined for you to be. And that's with Him, in the arms of Him, in all honor of Him. See, they know you. You inspired the very ones that doubted the very purpose of what God has ordained you to be, only to be frowned upon from a distance. But you have to tell yourself, God has given me something that many wish they could obtain, and that's patience, self-love, morals, respect of others even when disrespected and looked down upon and counted out. You as being a child of God shows respect. God's hands is what keeps our head lifted, counted out by the world, but not of God's promise for our lives, that the light you shine different in the world of shadow that reflects off the light that God has given you. You don't look for self-praise from man nor woman, but of God's approval, that the walk you walk is being led in sincerity amongst the spirit and not of the eyes to see, knowing God is no matter how many times you fall, you shall overstand. It's well be understood that the God we serve, doubt nor fear, will stop what God has destined for us. Remember, the world is not a race, but of observation of the finish line of where God has placed you to be. Where the path of the lost is directed by the flesh and of the enemy, only to be misled in a direction of self-destruction than of God's direction. It was never a race to fit in nor stand out above others, but of honor of God's works. All wins and no loss. Meaning that at any cost, no matter the deception, lies, and manipulation to win, is only a loss without truth, self-dignity, as well as God's purpose to guide you spiritually, than of a material world with no structure of God's hands, to obtain as well as to keep, knowing the possessions of self-gain as well as self-will doesn't belong to us, but of who we belong to, and that's of our Father and of His purpose and of His will, that we may build, then destroy amongst one another based upon jealousy, lies, discord, as well as misguiding God's truth, only to fit in a worldly image of achievements, only to be shadowed by darkness that this is not enough, when all in reality it will never be enough in the world led by greed, hatred, and envy upon the enemy that sees the light that God has placed upon you. And in St. Luke chapter 11 verses 35 through 36, take heed therefore that the light which is in thee be not darkness. If the whole body therefore be full of light, having no part of dark, the whole shall be full of light, as when the bright shining of a candle doth give light. Meaning the image of God within shows upon the temptation and the evil, upon those who reject God's light, only to be rejected upon a worldview then of God's truth, that Jesus is the only way to the Father. So understand this here, my brothers and sisters, the guidance and the truth of what my Heavenly Father has instilled in me is instilled in y'all. That it's all true.